Hi everybody, The One Metha here, and welcome to watching me going through my favorites list on fanfiction.net. You know how this works by now if you're watching part 26, but for those of you new, I've sorted my favorites list by publication date, going through them from the oldest to the newest, and seeing if they still deserve to stay on my list. So, let's get started with Black Flames Dance in the Wind, Rise of Naruto by DevilKeys writing. So this is a Naruto fic that basically spends a lot of time making sure that Naruto is the most powerful being in the frickin' universe. Like, most of the first chapters are just spent seeing like, oh, he's either training or he's doing this, or hey, remember that flashback where he got this super powerful item, or hey, this is where he got this thing. It's like, just, he even gets a version of the Soul Edge and like just gets like, oh, it's the prototype Soul Edge where it's even more powerful or something like that. And then it's just like, oh, the QB he meets when he's like 5 years old, and it's like, oh, she immediately just likes him and wants him to get laid and wants to teach him everything and teaches him all the shit. Like, great. And it's like, there's lip service paid to the fact that, yeah, he's young, he's not at his peak, so some people may still be more powerful than him, but it's pretty much just that, because he's just like any other time anything happens, he's just constantly getting better. Like, he tries a thing once and boom, oh, I can do it, I've mastered this. Like, I gotta try this super impossible jutsu that nobody's ever completed, and then let me spend 2 minutes looking at it, and oh, it's done, I'm amazing, I'm a master, and all of that shit. It's really irritating. It's like, just looking at this, I was already feeling like, maybe this is gonna be bad, and it doesn't help that, like, one of the first things that happens is a scene in the academy where he's like, oh, look at all these stupid idiots like the Uchiha and Kiba who are like, oh, they're showing off their best skills and telling everybody what their weaknesses are and everything, so everybody can do it. They're all so stupid. Not like me, who wears a mask on his face that has the 3 elemental affinities that he uses clearly marked on it so everybody knows what to expect from him. But no, he's the smart one. It's like, yeah, and the other people are like, right from the beginning, Sasuke's already in like, oh, you don't give me everything I want, you don't kiss my ass, I'll kill you, and just right out the gate. And I just couldn't go on. I read 6 chapters of this, and that was all I could stomach. I can't throw this off my list fast enough, and I don't recommend this to anybody. Oh boy. Alright. Next is another Naruto one, this time with Disgaea, is SiNful Rose by Blue Rose. This is a crossover with Disgaea 2, and there's a couple background changes from the start, with like, you know, the third Hokage sacrificing himself to seal the QB instead of the fourth Hokage, so he's still alive. Naruto's a Chunin. Sasuke didn't run away at that point, and then like Naruto gets summoned by Rozalin, and basically then it just follows the whole Disgaea 2 plot for most of its running time, and then comes back, and then there's some stuff at the end with the Naruto world again, and it's fun. It's fine, you know. It's got the whole random humor and like the style of stupidity that Disgaea is known for, and that fits. The author does a good job of that. I just didn't care about the characters. There's nothing really there to make me feel for them. Some of the relationships feel a little like Naruto and Rozalin apparently like fall in love or something, and it feels really unearned. Like, it comes out of nowhere. I feel it just happens, and I just didn't like it. It's like, it's not terrible. Let me just lower this a bit. It's not terrible, and it's something I'm fine. Like, the best way to describe it is like, if it was a TV show, right? I would be fine with having it on in the background and occasionally looking at it, but I would not be like, oh, I gotta see the newest episode, I gotta keep up with it week to week. It's just, it's fine if it's there, but I'm not gonna seek it out. Alright, so it's gonna fall off my list. Alright. Next is, again, another story by Rorschach's Blot, who, like I've said again and again, I love this guy. This one's called Larceny, Lechery, and Luna Lovegood. It's great. Basically, a small discussion about family magics leads to an epic summer after the 5th year of like thievery, dark bunnies, and Fred. And I Minister Fred. Like I love this story, and it's a great, like, just funny story. I don't want to spoil Hubers. Like, Luna is a great character in this especially, and just it's not even just her. Like Harry, like there's like 4 like main storylines going on through this thing, and each one of them is funny in its own right, and then the way they play off each other makes it super hilarious. I love this. If you want to just like have a good time, smile at any stupid jokes, like definitely check this out. And yeah, it stays on my list. Okay, now we have another Harry Potter one, this time My Gilded Life by Skysaber. And I remember seeing this story. So one of the ways I started finding other fanfics other than just looking at the newest updated in the comics was I would go through, if there was a story that I liked, I would go to their author page and look at their favorites list and go through, like, pick out stories from there. And I remember seeing this story on a lot of favorites lists before I actually read it myself. And the reason it took me so many looks before I actually sat down and read it was because the main character is Gilderoy Lockhart, and I do not like Lockhart, you know. But eventually, just seeing it so much, I was like, okay, so many people that I like seem to like this story. Let me try checking it out. And fine. The plot is, you know, the author, Skysaber, ends up just like getting a challenge and then wakes up in the body of Gilderoy Lockhart, basically at the end of the first book, like right when Harry's still in the hospital dealing with Quirrell. And then he just basically solves every single problem in the universe. You know, like literally the first thing he does after he wakes up is, oh, let me go tell Hermione, hey, Hermione, Harry's getting abused. And hey, there's Scabbers is Peter Pettigrew and all this. Like literally the first day. And nobody questions him. Like, I get it that fixing everything is standard SI. I didn't like this one, especially on reread. Most of the first few chapters, again, like the Black Frames one, is him just getting more and more powers, but it's kind of ridiculous how he does it. Like, he literally just walks into the Department of Mysteries and just grabs a bunch of time turners and walks back out. And just like, you know, oh hey, I gotta go sneak into Harry's house, so I'll give myself a little drop of blood, kill his family, and then all of a sudden, boom, I now have I can change my face. I have the Metamorph Magus powers and all that shit. And it's just like, okay, that's a little annoying and stuff. And it was also a little off-putting to just see, like, you know, the author is constantly saying that how much better he is than Lockhart as a person, which, okay, I hate him. I hated Lockhart as a character, but god damn, there's a lot of things like, oh, if I had less will, then my will's really strong, or I have very few flaws, so I'm really good at this. Thinking is really my strong suit. I'm super good. Okay, calm down, man. Like, I get it. You're amazing. Like, whatever. It was really irritating, and especially because the first few chapters, it's just him, or him doing stuff, and that's not really why I like SIs, or like what I feel the strong suit of self-insert fix are, which is interacting with the actual cast and it wasn't there for the first part. It gets there later on, and like eventually he ends up like dating, I think, Hermione's mom, but I just did not care about this story. It just really felt odd, and also like it just felt like too perfect. There's no struggles. He basically solves everything fine, and he just constantly says things that he has no real way of knowing in universe. And by that I don't mean that like, oh, he shouldn't even know that out of you. Like, he says stuff like, oh, hey, Harry was abused. Like, how would you know that, Lockhart? It's like, oh, I just know. Like, you get it, why you can understand why he'd know because he's an SI, but nobody in the universe asks, how do you know this? Why do you? And they just go with it. Everybody's like, oh, he said this, must be true. And everything just goes along, and everything just works so fucking perfectly that I just did not care for this. And yeah, it's just a Mary Sue fic where he gets all the powers and gets everything he wants, and I just found it really boring. Get in the boot, gets off my list. Alright. Moving on to Vesuvius's Junk Box by Vesuvius. This is basically another collection of odd ideas that didn't end up going anywhere. He actually had, I remember seeing a bunch of these were actually set up as originally listed as their own stories, and then he consolidated them into this box after nothing was going anywhere. Half of these are really short, not really short simple scenes, single scene ideas that could be moved forward, but the other half are long, interesting ideas that I really wish had done more, but what's there is still really, really interesting, and I definitely wouldn't mind. I definitely want to reread them again and again, and those half make this worth staying on my list. Those ideas. And the last one for this video is Overlord Shinji by MadHat886. This is another fic by him. I think the only other fic, he was there before with The Prince That Rises or something. I can't remember what it was called. But it was one that he had. That one was so much world building, so many new characters getting added. Not so much here. This is mainly just Shinji, Asuka, all of them after Third Impact, and then they end up in the world of Overlord, the game, not the light novel and that stuff. But the original game that had the imp minions and you were doing bad shit, that game. And the world building's not there, but there is a lot of text and time spent into explaining that oh, hey, here's the castle heart, this is what it does. Hey, you found a piece of the castle, this is how it powers up your minions, this is what this is. And a lot of that technical explanations occur. Other than that, it's mostly filled with Shinji just having sex with basically every single woman in this universe, including Asuka, Mari, all the women in the Overlord games, and a literal army of Rays, because the imps turned into Ray minions. So yeah, there's not much else. Shinji just has sex all day, and the women go out and they're like, we gotta make up to how we treated him like shit, and by having sex with him and doing stuff, and okay, that's a little I get why I added this on my list in the first place, because I liked harem stuff a lot, or the idea of harem fics. So I remember that you put it a plus, as well as the fact that Shinji getting stuff, because I liked Shinji as a character and I wanted stuff for him to be good. But there's not much here to keep your interest. It's pretty dull. The sex scenes are not even that graphic or anything, so it's not even good for as that. If you want to get off on that, it's okay, but it's gonna go off my list. And there we have it, another 6 stories down. And if any of these interest you or want to check them out, not links, but URLs are in the description below. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you want to keep up to date when I'm doing this, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things that people tell you to do. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.